that. It's all over everybody's like.
I hate it.
And then to be like, I identify that way. It's like, come the fuck on. You're not the only person on the planet who thinks that like being smart is attractive.
It's literally like every other male bio on Tinder.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like
so stupid.
So dumb.
It was on everybody's fucking MySpace profiles in 2008. Like,
really?
So yeah, like everyone was like, because I think people just learned what that word was.
Stop making fetch try to happen here, kids. Fetch is not going to happen.
I date him though.
You're like, okay.
He's really talented.
He's talented. He's cute, but he's probably insufferable.
Oh yeah, he probably
is.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's not, the article says he's coming out as something, which I feel like is...
It's very misleading. And you know what? I'm going to throw him a bone here because I don't think that was him. I think that was the article doing something, because that's what made me roll my eyes the hardest. And I actually think it's irresponsible usage of the term coming out.
I agree.
think that's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Coming out as a sapiosexual. Like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, it's more... what he connects with is the brain more than that.
I feel like you're giving a lot of forgiveness on this, Christina, for somebody who hates this term so aggressively. You're like, I forgive it in this case.
Well, no, I don't forgive it. It's just, it's like, yeah, okay.
But I'm like, but it's not a sexuality. It's a preference. Like, it's not it's a weird thing to make it like a sexuality, because if that's the case, if it's like, oh, you date men and women and you're attracted to either one based on their personality, that's just pansexuality. That's not like it's just like you prefer, you know,
smart people.
And
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
so
you said, that's like preferring somebody with blue eyes.
Prefer like dumb people. What are they called? Like, I only like to date dum-dums.
I'm sure that there are people. I'm sure that there are people who only like to date dumb people because it makes them feel smarter.
I mean,
one thing comes.
But would you admit that? Would you admit that? Well, now I need to know who this one person is. I'm not connected on that one.
No, never mind.
I bet you there's somebody out there who is like aware enough of their own personality to be able to be like, yeah, I deliberately pick people who are dumber than me because I can't.
Wouldn't that drive you crazy? That would drive me fucking nuts.
Yeah.
That would drive me nuts to have somebody who is not like, I mean, how do you hold a conversation with that?
I guess there is a spectrum of stupidity, right? So it's like, are you picking like really, really dumb people, or are you just picking people who are slightly dumber than you so you feel smarter?
Oh, I don't know.
Because there's a range there. You know, you can still like hold a conversation with somebody who isn't as smart as you.
You wouldn't mind taking this IQ test before we
I'm going to need you to score below 100 if we're going to date.
Oh, no.
But only like specifically below like a certain level that I'm at. I have like a score zone.
Within within a 20-point situation. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the other traits? Because like, you know, it's intelligence, it's sense of humor. Trying to think of like other things that like everybody looks for in a connection.
I'm sense of humor sexual. I've actually come out as
humor sexual.
I'm coming out and identifying as humor sexual.
Oh my god! Yeah. Like, that's do you hear how like ridiculous that sounds? So it's the same with being like, I identify as a sapiosexual. It's like, oh fuck you! Like, I hate you now. Actually,
can we coin the term humor sexual?
Yeah, TM.
Trademarked.
No one steal it.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
You're going to see it all over Tinder.
Yeah. Humor sexual. Can you put it on your Tinder profile? Oh my God, please. Will you please? Humor sexual.
No, I'll get too many like penises like look dressed up like clowns.
Oh, right.
No.
Oh, God.
Just a big red nose on the end.
I know.
I don't like it. I don't like it. It looks infected.
Oh, God.
No, you're going to get a lot of like comedians, which is like a whole other bag of worms. You know, you really want to dive into that Shane Gillis stand-up nightmare?
No. That honestly is my nightmare. Because I mean, I love stand-up comedy. I love stand-up comedy. I admire people who are courageous enough to do it. I get so awkward around people that aren't professional doing like improv or stand-up comedy.
Let me tell you guys.
Let me pull out my guitar and sing you a song about it real quick.
All of it.
No.
All of the
guys,
cringe.
let me tell you.
All of the cringe.
I was on set this last couple days, and I was in the holding tent with everyone else. Everyone was starting to get like delirious. It was like seriously like 3:30 in the morning. We'd been there since like 4:30 in the afternoon. Everybody was starting to get like
happy.
Really slap happy. I had a period there where I laughed for about 10 solid minutes over something stupid. Like that's where we were at. It was like sleepover levels delirium, you know? And there was a guy there. Oh my God. We can probably find his video. I'll show it to you later because he went on the Gong Show where he wrote a song about pizza. And he would not shut the fuck up about like how he's trying to get his stand-up career and his music career off the ground. And people were egging him on. And I was like, this is cruel and terrible. Because then he's like, do you want to hear some of my stand-up? Nope. I'm working it out. So like, I really want to like practice on you guys.
I'm peeling my skin off right now.
And we could probably find it because people were videoing him. Like, so they probably uploaded it to YouTube or something. But like, it
poor
was
baby angel.
Horrifying. He was like, here's an impression of a Russian guy.
No.
It was like the 90s stand-up. And then he did an impression. He's like, here's my impression of an Indian guy.
No.
And did the most horrific, horrifying Indian accent.
No.
And the guy I was like talking to was like, I highly suggest you do not do that. And he's like, why? And he's like, people could find it very offensive. And he's like, it's a joke. It's funny. And I'm like, oh, no.
Okay.
No. But it, like that room, everybody was tensed up so hard while this guy was practicing his
My
stand-up.
shoulders
I was
hurt
like
just thinking about this.
No.
I literally, I have actually completely crawled out of my skin.
I had my hands over my eyes.
That's me.
My head was down. My hands were on my forehead. I was like, I can't.
I need a massage in my neck for the tenseness of my muscles. Again, just hearing the story, not even being there. I'm like,
truly
hurts.
horrifying. I'll show you the Gong Show performance later so you can get a sense of what this guy's like. And by the way, if you're picturing like this was like, some young 20-something who doesn't know anything.
Even worse.
This
my
guy
God.
was like in his mid-40s.
No.
Like,
No.
Yes.
He's like, I'm the goddamn amazing Jonathan over here. You're like,
I don't think you are, sir.
He's
And,
like works as an accountant, and his like one buddy Jim tells him he's funny, so
Hilarious.
he's like, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to become a stand-up comedian.
like,
Oh God, a stand-up comedian and a musician. And when I play this song for you, you're gonna be like,
oh no, is it like the dude face from Cold podcast, like that level?
oh,
like
you know what? I think they both take each other like they both take themselves very seriously. But like that guy was trying to do some like John Denver crap.
Yeah.
Like this guy is like literally this song. He was singing it very earnestly, and he sang it for us because there was a guitar on set.
Oh no,
He's singing it very earnestly, but it is a song about pizza. Like it's literally like you get the crust, you put the cheese on it, you put the sauce on it, and I'm like, oh no.
sir.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
For
Yeah,
you.
it was bad. I mean, that was probably the worst part of the whole experience.
Yeah.
And I was working for 13 hours, and that was probably the worst part of it.
Secondhand embarrassment, man,
Oh.
just like kills me. It
Makes my
gives me
stomach
stomach ache. Yeah, yeah.
I literally turn off shows, like, or I'll mute shows if I know that
It would
something
get
really
too
embarrassing is about to happen.
Yeah.
I cannot deal.
It's like what's like Meet the Parents.
Yeah.
I can't watch that shit. Meet the Parents is not for me.
No, it's not enjoyable
Yeah.
watching watching people fail. Like I can't do that.
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh, I.
So I think we should talk to the listeners about something that's very important. It's soup's important. And that is that the two of you just found out what your Hogwarts house is worth.
Finally, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what took you so long, but
So yeah, I finally went on Pottermore because I've been saying like forever. I'm like, I'm probably a Ravenclaw, and so I went in and finally, because you're a Gryffindor, right, Keegan?
I am. We'll discuss that in a moment.
Okay.
But yes.
I was pretty certain I was Ravenclaw, but I'm like, I have nothing substantial to back that on because, well, this is like, if we're honest, this is all fake.
How dare you? First of all,
but I did go on Pottermore and I did the quiz and I was trying to be very objective, like not try to like sway it one way or the other. I was very like honest with my answers and I was like, whatever it is what it is. If I'm a goddamn Hufflepuff,
so
come
be
for
it.
me, right? But turns out I'm a Ravenclaw. So
Congratulations.
I took the quiz. I have not read the books. I ambivalently watched like some of the movies. So I had like a guess as to what the 4 might be, but I wouldn't have known. So I answered honestly. And listeners, "Ya girl's a Slytherin,"
and that makes sense to me.
Oh, so hard.
Actually, I mean, I think it all makes sense.
Oh yeah, I'm the bad guy.
Not all Slytherins are bad,
Right?
But yeah, I am a Gryffindor, and I remember because forever I self-identified as a Ravenclaw. I was like, I'm a Ravenclaw. Self-identified that way. I mean, look,
it's so funny because we just trashed Mark Ronson for identifying as a sapiosexual, and we're like, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same level.
Oh, it is not the same level at all. I will physically fight you. It is absolutely not the same level. And you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If I was having a podcast with two other people who were my age, this would be a non-issue. This would be a non-conversation because every millennial knows their house. Yeah. It's a huge culture thing. Like every millennial knows what their Harry Potter Hogwarts house is.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I did read all the books and I watched all the movies, and I did huge Potterhead.
I just feel like I missed it because that entire time was when I was working at Shadow, and we worked 100 hours. I didn't read anything. I didn't watch or interact with the outside world for that entire period of time.
It kind of missed you.
Completely missed it.
Yeah.
I think I was 8 when the books came out, and I was the same age as the actors in the movies.
Right.
So it was like
it was built.
It was right in my wheelhouse. So I read all the books. I watched all the movies. I did the midnight premieres of all of them. But forever I was just like, I'm a Ravenclaw for sure. Because listen, within the Harry Potter community, Gryffindors get a lot of shit.
Oh yeah,
really?
Gryffindors get a lot of shit. People
I thought that's the one everybody want to be.
No,
everybody wants a Ravenclaw. Don't
hate
they?
them. I mean, I don't know. People stand their houses pretty hard. People stand there. There is a My Favorite Murder Harry Potter crossover group that I'm in.
Wait, why am I not in this?
I don't know, but I'll add you.
Yeah.
But yeah, people stand their houses pretty hard. But so when I took the quiz, I took a couple quizzes. The first one I took broke it down by percentage. And it was you're 51% Gryffindor, 49% Ravenclaw. And I was like, oh no. And so then I took the Pottermore quiz and I was like, you're a Gryffindor. And I was like, no. I really had to have a come to Jesus moment with myself about it.
Gryffindor is great.
And I think I even made a Facebook post where I was like, I think I'm having a millennial midlife crisis. I'm having an identity crisis.
You're like, I can't come to terms with this.
I have to just be really honest with myself that this is who I am. And I think it is who I am if I'm really
really you're
truthful.
Totally a Gryffindor. If I'm honest, as much as I wanted to identify as a Ravenclaw, I was prepared to get Gryffindor, to be honest with you. I was prepared to.
You were readying yourself, stealing yourself for it.
Yeah. I think the only thing I would have been disappointed in is if I did become a Hufflepuff. I just think because it's just so out of character for me, I'd be like, huh?
Yeah, I don't see you as a Hufflepuff at all. You're a Ravenclaw for sure.
I am.
So I love that we're all different. We're all different houses.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. I feel like it fits.
It's
definitely.
Right. Yeah.
Now
I love that you're a Slytherin.
I know.
I love that we all did it at the bar last night too. Then our friend Lyndon, also a Slytherin.
Which makes sense
this
too.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Anthony, you're
Anthony's a Gryffindor.
That motherfucker is a Hufflepuff as the day is long.
He took the Pottermore quiz.
I know.
He's a Gryffindor. I see. When I was talking to him about it, because he was like, he's not read the books or seen the movies either. Mm-hmm. And whenever I was first talking to him about it, he's like, I'm a Slytherin. And I'm like, you're the least Slytherin-y person I've ever met in my whole fucking life.
Absolutely not.
I've never, ever met anyone less Slytherin-y than you.
Ever.
I was like, you are legit. You're a Griffin puff. You're you could fall into either camp, but.
Yeah. Where you're kind of a Griffin claw. He's a Griffin puff.
I'm a Griffin claw. He's a Griffin puff for sure. Yeah.
I'm more of a Raven door.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, because I'm Ravenclaw first for sure.
And you're a Slitherclaw.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I have a Gryffindor rising.
Yes.
Oh my god, this is the new astrology.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
This is the new millennial astrology. Wow. Well, so amazing. I will be disappointed if on our thread somebody doesn't start what house are you in, and we only want Pottermore stands who've actually done the quiz. Not
In
none
fact,
of this self-identifying as.
No, because you're probably wrong about yourself. I mean, I was. You weren't, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
Cassie.
Not. It was weird. But that's the thing about being Ravenclaw is that you're very self-aware.
Wow. I feel like that's a personal attack, but that's fine. Things are getting really heated in here.
That's amazing.
I really want someone to make
We need to do a compatibility chart or whatever. Can Slytherin state Hufflepuffs.
Ooh.
Apparently, because our friends Mark and Ann are Slytherin and Hufflepuff, which actually makes sense. It really does.
Yeah. Okay.
Apparently, that's a thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I want a compatibility chart, just like that you can go online and do your. I will go ahead and say this. I have been that adult female who pays bills and does things, who once they get the birth date of a guy that they kind of like, goes online and does the free
the astrology compatibility test.
Yeah, I'll own that shame receipt. There you
know
go.
What? That's
I've
fine.
done that.
I wouldn't take too much stock in it though, because I think that like Chris and I, when we just did the basic, when you just do the, hey, are Aries and Capricorns compatible?
No, I know. I did the. Yeah, I do the
date to date,
which
is fine and dandy. But honestly, if you actually have somebody who actually does charts, not one of those things, because if you look at Chris and I's compatibility based off of those interweb nonsense, it was no way is that compatible. But I did have a girl who I knew who does actual charts and fucking put work in it and was like, boo, boo, boo. And here's all the things. And then she was like, traditionally on paper, you wouldn't look at this sign and this sign and as being compatible, but because of when
certainly
you were born,
wasn't in mine.
yeah, no, it's just it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would be leery of putting too much stock in any of it. Don't put too. It's get to know other human being. Yeah. It's just for fun. Everyone does it. I definitely did it for sure. But same. Whenever I put mine and Anthony's in, it's nah, not great.
You're yes, it is. It's perfect.
You're wrong, computer.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, look, I'll always take a quiz. I fucking 100% always take a quiz.
I mean, please, let's pretend like we didn't grow up on 17 magazine, Sassy magazine quizzes.
Which Sex and the City character are you? Which Golden Girls are you? Which I
had the Cosmo girl back. Do you remember when Cosmopolitan magazine had a edition for preteens?
Yeah.
I had a subscription to Cosmo Girl whenever I was in middle school.
I'm sure that
all the quizzes.
So many healthy mindsets.
Oh God,
I think about
it's incredibly
17 magazine and Cosmo, and I'm like, thanks for my body dysmorphia.
But now Teen Vogue is out there being woke as shit.
I know.
Teen Vogue is super woke.
That's so great.
Yeah, because that's not what we got. We got the worst shit. It was just how to lose 10 pounds. It's I'm 13, but thank you.
Boys.
Yeah.
Here's how to give a good blowjob, because I was reading Cosmo, regular Cosmo.
Amen.
At 15, I was like, wait, how do I master this technique again? What am I doing?
Like a fucking 15-year-old boy knows the difference. They're like, oh my God, she's touching it. They don't care. They do not care.
No, they don't. They don't
at all.
You can just roll your eyes in the general vicinity of it. And they're oh my God. It's been a while since we've had a good high school story. Oh, I think I have a good high school story for today.
Mine also takes place in high school, but it's not. There's not a high school setting.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I did whenever I was last week? I was in so much pain. I was cramping so badly, sitting on my couch. I binged the shit out of 13 Reasons Why. I watched. Well, I'd already seen the first season. I was like, you know what? It's been a year and a half. I'm going to watch the second season now. I binged all of the second season.
Thoughts?
I don't know. I have mixed. It's good. I mean, it's very bingeable as far as it's that kind of show that you're going to get looped into wanting to know what happens and all of that. And Cass does a good job and all of that stuff. But I do think the way that they handled the first season was somewhat irresponsible, knowing people who have dealt with the similar situations. But I thought it was pretty good, but I also thought is this what being a teenager now is? Anytime I watch teenagers shows now, as an adult, having not been in high school whenever all of this shit, social media and everything was as big of a deal as it is now, I'm like, is this what teenagers are actually going through, or is this a heightened
right
situation?
God, I hope not. I can't even imagine going through high school with social media.
Oof.
It would be the literal worst.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to anybody that's had to do that. High school sucks. Sucks. But adding that social media component to it, I can't. Y'all are stronger than I am. Yeah. So good on you for having to go through it.
But I guess it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's everyone though. Like, so it's like at some point it becomes relative to the people around you pretty normal, I would imagine, because it's just like, yeah, there's embarrassing shit of you on the internet, but there's also embarrassing shit of like all of your classmates.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? Right. So it's like, at some point it just levels out.
But like, you know, how many documentaries have you seen where like teenagers, like they're starting to like text and sext each other and like send nudes and stuff? And can you imagine being like 13 or 14 and those like nudes getting passed all through your fucking school?
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, and that's when, you know, like they
and that
start talking about
forever.
Oh, that's right. Totally. Yeah. But then too, I mean, that's child pornography, technically.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, I can't even imagine the conversations that you have to have with your kids these days.
Kids these days.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So that's why I was like, forgot my ID to the bar last night. I'm like, I could have birthed a drinking age child.
I mean,
technically, yeah. I'm like, I'm old enough to have
let you
birthed.
in?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm like, look at this face.
Look at this face.
I'm like,
oh my God. Okay.
I could have birthed a child.
Let's talk about our door guy, our bouncer yesterday at the bar.
Who was 1,000 feet tall.
He was
a redwood of a person.
It made me. I had this whole thing. I was talking to our friend because if you guys want to know like a little bit about what my brain is like and like the way that my brain functions, like I saw this guy. I came in. He's literally like 7 feet tall. He's a sturdy person.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not like
you're not gonna
fat.
fuck
He's
with
just
him.
like big, you know. And I like, you know, gave him my ID or whatever. And I walked in, and I had this whole like inner story in my brain where I was like, I wonder, like, what if he's like a really sensitive person?
I bet you he is. I bet you he is.
He's super nice.
Cats at
but
home.
no one like treats him like a sensitive person because he's like so big and like he can't help it, and so like he just gets a job as a bouncer because it's like, and he's like such a kind-hearted, soft person on the inside, but nobody knows that because he's so big. I think about that sometimes. I'm like, man, you can't help it that you just look like a big tough guy, and you're probably like catch butterflies and like probably just like a really sweetie, like
dance in the rain. And he came in and was getting like drinks out of the smoking area and like grabbing glasses and stuff. And he was very polite and very sweet. And I was like, but
he's
also
a delicate, graceful human being.
You know what's funny is like as we were leaving, and I'm with Chris, who's not that tall, and our friend Lyndon, also not very tall, and we were like, he's like, could you imagine he wouldn't get in a fight with him. He'd literally put his hand on your head, and you'd be like that little kid swinging.
Yeah,
your
I mean,
arms.
I think he could literally pick you up with one hand and just throw you aside.
It's like a fight.
Andre the Giant size.
Yes,
for sure. Oh, we didn't bring him up when we were talking about wrestlers.
Shit. That's right. But did you watch that documentary? I think I talked about it before, but it's so good.
Yeah. What a great guy.
Yeah.
Well, who should we fuck, marry, kill this week?
I don't know. Let's give a shout out to our Patreon.
Oh
yes. Okay. So
three newbies.
Got a couple new patrons this week.
In the business section, by the way, this is my worst date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
On page 6, we have.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to give a shout out to Lewis Hung. Welcome to our Patreon family.
Hey.
He also sent us a really nice message.
Oh,
too.
did he?
It was so sweet.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. It's still in the inbox. So yeah, check it out. It was very, very sweet. And thank you so much.
We also got Stephanie Workman. And then we also got Shelly. And Shelly is super sweet. She has reached out to me on Instagram before, and she left us a really, really sweet message on
we read
Facebook.
it in the bar last night.
Yeah. She left us a really sweet message on Facebook. And so we want to give a big, big thank you to all three of our new patrons, Shelly, Stephanie, and Lewis. Thank you guys so much. We're so excited. We are, we just unrolled all of our new Patreon levels.
Yeah.
And we hope you guys really enjoy the new stuff that we have coming out. Let us know if there's anything that you want to see, if there's bonus content that you guys are looking for. We would be happy to work on that for you.
Yeah. It's very exciting. Honestly, it is I can't say enough. Like, I'm flabbergasted. Like, every time we get a new patron, I know we've said this before and I don't want to be like redundant. It's just, it always surprises me and just fills me with like so much joy to like have this community. It's crazy.
Yeah. And there's going to be new stuff coming up. I really feel like 2020 is going to be a very exciting year as far as like having new stuff going on, especially for our listeners. So look forward to that.
Oh my God. Can we live podcast from your wedding?
Sure. Yeah. Only for Patreon users. They'll get a live stream. You guys are the only ones who don't have to have the unplugged rule. That's awesome. That's hilarious. Okay, so who should we fuck, marry, kill? We could fuck, marry, kill Harry Potter.
We should. We haven't done that. Fucking great idea. Okay, so you got Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Ron
Got
Weasley.
to. Yeah.
I think you do Draco Malfoy. I think we should probably pick
Draco?
somebody from each of our houses.
Oh, we want to pick
Oh,
people
yeah.
from our houses? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Trying to
look,
remember
I
any-
gotta go Harry Potter, even though I find him kind of annoying. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Harry Potter because he's a Gryffindor.
I'm like, who are the Ravenclaws? Why can't I think of somebody?
Isn't that Luna?
No,
Luna is a Ravenclaw.
Is she?
Mhm.
I love her.
She's a Ravenclaw. Cho, who's like his crush, is a Ravenclaw.
Was the guy in
Oh wait!
Edward
if we did
Cullen, what's his name?
good guys, if we did
He was a Hufflepuff.
Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and then Neville.
Oh, I love Neville.
Oh, they're all
Longbottom.
Gryffindors, but
They're
I'm down.
all Gryffindors.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
So that's the same
Okay.
house. Let's
okay,
try that.
Can we do them? Can we do two? Let's do them as characters, and then let's do them IRL.
Okay,
Because I think my answers will be different.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine might not be actually.
So we're doing Ron,
Harry.
Harry,
Neville.
and Neville. Okay, cool.
Okay. Well, I'm going to marry Neville because I fucking love Neville. He's my favorite.
So sweet.
My fave.
Yeah.
I am going to. I think I'm going to fuck Ron and kill Harry.
I'm the
why.
exact same as
Harry's
you.
kind of annoying.
It's not even that. It's just that I think Ron's going to try harder because he's kind of an underdog.
Aw.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I've messed around with redheads before.
I have a thing for gingers. What can I say? I
They
can't help it.
generally do.
I'm gonna say I had a big. I went through a phase in middle school where I thought that redheaded guys were really, really cute, and I really liked him. Like Rupert Grint, I thought he was so cute. I thought it was super, super cute. So yeah, I think mine might be the same.
Yeah.
For talking about the characters, I think mine might be the same.
Harry would just be so like he's
he's whiny.
He's whiny.
Yeah.
He's like self-righteous. He kind of is like
doesn't
nice
need
guy
to
TM.
be.
Yes,
sometimes
exactly.
The
Totally.
couple movies that I've seen, I was like, why is he nice guy
Read the
TM?
books.
Yeah. Okay, but if we're talking the IRL,
IRL.
I'm gonna have to switch it up a little bit because I think I'm actually going to marry Daniel Radcliffe because I think he's a really talented actor. I think he's really funny.
Seems very
So
silly.
funny.
He's silly.
So funny.
Yeah, he's like silly. I don't think he takes himself too seriously. I also love that like he's like, I've got all this Harry Potter money. I don't need to do like a bunch of big budget movies. I'm gonna do weirdo indie movies that I care about. I like that. So I think we'd have a
I've
good
seen
time.
him make fun of himself
Oh,
like
yeah.
so
So-
many times.
yeah.
And it's really, I
Seems
love
so
that
cool.
quality.
Yeah,
So,
I think
yeah.
he seems really cool. So I'm gonna marry him because I feel like that'd be a good time.
Fuck the dude that plays Neville
I'm gonna
Longbottom.
fuck that
Same.
guy because
Same.
wow, Matthew
Yikes.
something. I can't remember what his name is. He's
Glow up,
woo
child.
hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
hot. And then nothing against Rupert Grint, but just
Exactly.
he's just the odd guy out here. So
I think we are solidly the same. On
yeah.
all of them. That's mine too.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, well,
feel like
easy
it's
enough.
the only right answer. Well, what about the adults? Because like Snape and
Dumbledore.
Come on.
Dumbledore is really good at magic. He could probably take you to another plane.
what about isn't there a movie where Jude Law plays
Yes.
young Dumbledore?
Hot Dumbledore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jude Law.
Oh.
Sexy.
God.
Yeah.
He hot.
He hot. Yeah, maybe we'll save that for another time.
We'll save that for another
Yeah.
time.
Maybe Halloween.
Yeah.
Because people have strong opinions about
We
Snape.
should do like
Very
wizards
strong
and witches
opinions.
for Halloween.
Love. What is that actor?
Alan Rickman?
Alan Rickman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Who doesn't?
god.
Alan Rickman is
So
everything.
He is.
Amazing.
I love him.
I love him.
You know what? That just triggered a memory for me. You know when we've talked about people who are like, oh, he's kind of weird, but he's hot. Alan Rickman for sure. But you know
Amen.
who else is Alan Cumming.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
Absolutely.
Ooh-wee.
Have you seen him in when he did Cabaret?
Yes, I think so.
Oh my God.
I think I saw him in.
Just hearing him sing, and I was just like, I love you. I love you.
You can believe me.
There are a lot of those like really weird ones. Like I think and they're all the same for everybody. It's like you've got Tim Curry and Rocky Horror Picture Show, where you're like, why? But
Adrian Brody.
Brody. You've got
God, that nose, man.
You've got David Bowie in the Labyrinth.
Oh
too,
yeah,
that's not for me.
Yeah,
really?
That's not for me.
Oh my
really?
God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, little 12-year-old me was like, what are these feelings? I feel uncomfortable.
When they were dancing and she was in the ball gown, and I was just like, kiss. I wanted them to kiss.
And now as an adult, you're like, oh, that's weird. She's like 14. I feel so uncomfortable.
That meme where it was like, where it's the guy that's sitting at the college campus, and it goes, David Bowie was a better babysitter than Sarah. Changed my mind.
Oh yes.
That's amazing. Also true.
Yeah. Well, should we take 5 and come back with stories?
Yes.
Cool. Perfect.
And we're back.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to do my story first because I have the Crazy in Love this week, which I'm super excited about, you guys.
Oh my God.
It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, so this story was The Naked Man, Tinder edition is what it was called.
Oh,
love it.
no.
Yeah.
I love it and I hate it.
Yeah.
How many times is that was Naked Man on Sex and the City or on Friends? Well, there were both.
There was the ugly naked guy on Friends.
Right. But then there was also the naked dude on Sex and the City.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we all know how Tinder works by now. Well, about 2 years ago, I matched with a fairly attractive guy. We chatted for a bit, and one thing that stood out was that he told me he was a nudist. I told him I'm a pretty open person and thought that it was no big deal. I ended up inviting him over to my 1-bedroom apartment. It was about 4 p.m. I don't know why I invited him over in the middle of the day. I wasn't even in the mood for anything sexual. I just wanted to see where things went. Anyways, he comes over and I invited him in. We chatted a bit more and I said, I'm going to go make a cup of coffee. I walked into the kitchen out of sight and we both continued to talk from the other room. As I walked back into the dining room, I nearly dropped the cup of coffee that I was carrying out. There he was, stark fucking naked, standing in my living room, broad daylight, windows open. I don't even know how to react or what to say. And he sensed my hesitation. He noticed this and apologized, saying that he thought he got the point across that he was a nudist. I couldn't help but laugh, either from nervousness or just because I walked into a room to find a stranger butt-ass naked.
That is in a sitcom. I can't remember which sitcom it is, but there is one where that happens. Is it Sex and the City?
I feel like it is. And the other thing too is, though, like, even if you are that, it's like, you can do it in your home, but you're meeting somebody in their home or whatever. You can wear clothes for a couple of hours.
Sure. And you can also say, do you mind?
Yeah, exactly. Clearly, they wore clothes over. So I think you ask, you're like, hey, remember I told you I was a nudist? Like, is it okay with you? I don't. You definitely don't wait till they leave the room to start taking your clothes off so that they have a surprise whenever they come back in.
My dong.
Hi.
She says his flaccid penis was almost covered by a huge dark bush, as dark as his hair. It was all I could look at. I've seen a bush that big on a man wasn't in a 70s porno. I haven't seen a bush on a man that wasn't in a 70s porno.
Oh my God. I am actually just thinking now. I'm like, I've seen a lot of dong in this.
That's a mage
year
bush.
And a half, and bushes are not a thing.
Well, and a bush that covers
everything
is quite the bush.
Yeah. Like, I'm not looking for my man to shave it.
No.
But I'm also like, that's
I'd like to be able to find it.
Levels. Exactly.
I don't want to have to be like Dora the Exploring, like through the Amazon that is your
Dora.
Not to body hair shame, because you do you.
I know, and I don't want to floss when I'm going down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just like.
The idea of
yeah. No, thank you.
To break the silence, he picked up the conversation where I had left off. Now I'm in my dining room having a cup of coffee before 5 p.m. with a nudist, wondering why I allow myself to get into these kinds of situations.
Very casually having coffee.
The conversation went dull as I was mostly in my own thoughts, and then he pulled out the mother of all questions. Do you want a back massage?
No.
Now I'm a goddamn sucker for a back massage. I always have been.
Honey.
However, this was going to be the only time that back massage had cons. I thought about it for a moment and said, fuck it, why not? So we go
many reasons why not, in my opinion.
We go about 5 feet over to where my bedroom is, and I lay on my stomach and lift my shirt up to my neck, only exposing my back, not really knowing how he was going to approach this. I was still surprised when the dude jumped up and straddled me. I froze, wondering if I would feel his hairy balls touching my skin. That would be too much of a distraction and not worth it.
Oh my God.
Once he started the back massage, I let everything in my mind go. I slipped into the moment as one would when something feels awesome. He had pretty damn good hands. Fast forward half an hour later, he gets up. My mind right now jumps back into what the fuck is going on to happen next. I'm not horny. I don't really want to sleep with this dude, and I have nowhere else to go. He asks me, my turn? I'm like, okay, give me a minute. I run into the kitchen. I'm telling myself that I do not want to give this guy a back massage. And what if he gets aroused? What happens after the massage? I don't want it to lead anywhere else, to be honest. And I don't want him to keep looking at his flaccid dick the whole time either. So I'm in my kitchen trying to think of any excuse I can come up with in the moment. I grabbed a fucking slab of meat that's been in my freezer for a few weeks, and I run back into the bedroom. I hold the meat up and I tell the naked man I forgot that I had a barbecue I had to go to, and that I'm supposed to bring the main course. He says, okay, and then begins to get dressed. I leave the meat on the table and start grabbing paper plates and utensils as I'm hurriedly packing all of this into a large picnic bag that I have. He's finally done getting dressed. I rush him out the front door and then run to the window to sneakily see him leave. He doesn't. For at least 5 minutes, he's just sitting in his car. I can't tell if he's looking at his phone or wondering why his plan didn't work. Either way, he was taking way too long to pull off the street. Without thinking, I just grabbed my full picnic basket of frozen meat and paper plates, and I ran to my car. I waved to him as I threw my shit in the back seat and sheepishly waved.
Wow. She literally drove
she's
off.
like, fuck it.
She's
She's
like, to this plan.
Yeah, she's like, I have to. As I drive away.
In his defense, though, I mean, like, I've definitely been guilty of doing that, where I'm like, I get in my car and I'm like, I don't really want to go anywhere yet. Like, I'm like on my phone, I'm like watching YouTube videos or like doing whatever. I've definitely done that before.
She's like, as I drive away, I'm in a fit of laughter. I decide to drive to my friend's house a few blocks away and then open the door to me holding a picnic basket of frozen meat. I ask through tears if they want to fucking grill out because I had someone pull the naked man move on me.
Also, you got an impromptu barbecue out of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And a back massage. This all sounds like a win.
Well,
as far
except
as
for
I'm concerned.
the sweaty balls on your back.
Well, look,
But yeah.
man, she seemed okay with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
There's
like
a
that
price,
massage was real
price
good.
to pay, yeah, for a good massage.
Wow. Okay. I'll go next. This one's also from Reddit. I was in high school, and one day during dance practice, I saw some of the basketball players in the area. I mentioned that one of the newer guys was pretty good looking. My friend told one of the guys on the team, and he told the guy that I thought he was cute. Perfect.
God, this is such a high school story.
High school meet cute. He ended up asking me to be his girlfriend without knowing a single thing about me and on our first date. That's just like
That's the
perfect.
most high school thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You want to be my girlfriend?
Check yes or no.
Well, this first date was basically a double date with his parents.
No.
Listen to this. It was the most weird and awkward date ever. We went to the movies, and he told me to put my head on his shoulder, and I could hear his parents laughing from behind us.
No, I hate that. Wasn't he embarrassed?
I know. It was 20 minutes into the movie, and my head is still on his shoulder, and then he decides to kiss me on the cheek, but because we had been drinking soda throughout the movie, his lips were super cold and wet.
Ew.
And I just kept thinking this movie was the longest movie on
That is
earth.
my nightmare. In front of, like, in high school, in front of your
their
date's parents. Like, oh no.
No. After the movie, he grabs my hand and we're holding hands, and I could literally see flashes in the back from his parents taking pictures.
Oh,
No.
mom and dad.
No.
Come on. I mean, like, I don't have
These are
kids,
the
but I'd like to think
uncoolest
I would be
parents
a cool
ever.
mom. Like, come on. Like,
Be cool, Mom.
Be cool, be cool, be cool.
We then went to get some tacos, and his parents order without even asking what I want, and I get 2 carne asada tacos with loads of cheese on it, and I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, no.
So I just sat there watching them eat and playing with my food since I couldn't eat anything.
These parents sound terrible.
They ended up dropping me off, and I could see the guy going in for a kiss, and I just pulled back, turned away, and said thank you to his parents and jumped out of the car as quickly as I could.
And then you wrote him a note and put it in his locker that's like, I'm not your girlfriend
I'm not
anymore.
your girlfriend anymore.
This has
Don't
been real.
call me.
Yeah, don't call.
Have we all written that note?
Oh.
No, I wasn't popular enough in high school to
I wrote the we're not girlfriend boyfriend anymore note.
breakup note, high school breakup note.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever done that.
Okay,
I can't
question.
remember.
Do you think high schoolers today write notes? Like paper notes anymore?
Oh no,
No, they
they
text
just
each other.
They
right?
text
Yeah,
or
or
go
DM.
into the DM
God.
or something.
I wish,
Snapchat.
that makes me sad for them that they never got to experience the joy
The football note.
of the football note, the many different folding techniques. I folded mine. There were so many
Goddamn
ways.
pros at origami.
Yeah, basically, essentially.
In junior high.
So many things that you would put at the end of notes. Like I think I said that on the podcast before, but I always did the one giant S.
Yep.
It was like, sorry, so sloppy at the bottom. No matter how neat you wrote it, you had to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we talked last night in the bar about that mysterious S that we all.
Yeah,
That we all did.
The
That we all
S,
did.
the 90s S, that was like the 3, and
Lines,
then the 3
yeah.
lines, the 3 lines, and you would connect them.
That's
Everyone who's done it knows exactly what we're talking
exactly,
about right now.
and I'm like confounded as to where we got that from.
Ew. I don't know that I can do
Aliens.
it anymore.
I can.
Yeah,
I
could
think
probably
I've
do
done it like semi-recently.
On a note that
Just
you
like
passed.
doodling. I was like, oh, yeah, there you go.
That's
So
amazing.
sorry, so sloppy.
Sorry, it's so sloppy.
I can literally see that.
Oh my God. You know what? I have them. I have like a lot of the notes that were given to me in high school, like
Dude.
at home in my mom's
I
like,
do
attic.
too. We should
I
do.
want to hear
We should
junior
do.
high notes.
We
Okay,
should
for
do that.
for Patreon,
Let's do it.
next time I go home, I will go upstairs into the attic and find my like little
All I gotta do is go
my
into
little
this closet
Ziploc
right here.
thing full of notes,
That's amazing.
and I will read them. It'll be like Mortified Nation in here.
Oh God, so good.
In fact, I also have my middle school. Oh man, I have my middle school diaries. Like I've considered burning those because I'm like,
Nobody
God.
wants to read that, right?
I read a lot. This is embarrassing. I was really into those like Dear America books that were like diary entries from different time periods.
Yeah, I love that.
I loved them. They were great. But every time I read it, I was like, that's a good way to write a diary because they were all like different. So like sometimes some people would start their diaries and they'd be like, dear friend, or like dear diary, or dear whatever. And so I
Dear
would
Barbara.
take notes. So you could like, when you read my diary, you'll see it like throughout time when I would like start my diary entries like differently because I'm like, this is a cooler way to start a diary entry.
Oh my God.
And like looking back, I'm like, oh God, that's going to be so embarrassing.
I love that.
Anyway, okay. Just before my junior year of high school, our neighbors, upper middle class neighborhood, hit a rough patch, and the wife took a second job at McDonald's. She was kind of a surrogate mom to me, and so I'd drop in and say hi every now and then. One of her coworkers was a Navy guy who decided he needed to go out with me. He was very much not my type, but he seemed nice and kept begging my neighbor for my number, so I succumbed to the pressure and said yes. There are issues here. First of all, she is a junior in high school.
Yeah,
This guy's been in the Navy.
yeah.
So he's
a full grown ass
Definitely
adult.
older than her by,
I'm sure.
a certain amount. And
Yeah.
then also like he was pressuring a teenager to go on a date with him, which I don't like. I don't like that.
No.
The evening started by him running late. He called me from a payphone saying that he had a flat tire and asked me if I could help change it. This is a teenage girl.
Okay.
Like you're like, can you come help me change my flat tire?
No, that's what AAA is for.
No,
sir.
I can't.
Yeah.
Well, I think this was a while ago because it was a payphone.
Well, they had AAA back then.
I don't know. I mentioned this to my dad, and he's basically like, I've got this, and goes to help.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. They show up an hour or so later, and my dad, also a Navy guy, makes it clear that he does not like this dude. Found out years later that he'd mentioned her perfect little ass as a reason for wanting to date me to your dad.
No.
What?
My dad would have.
The fuck? My
dad
dad
would
would have murdered.
I
this
can't
guy.
believe I can't believe this dad actually let her go on this date.
Yeah.
I there's no way. My dad would have actually killed this person.
Yeah,
I think.
and my dad wouldn't have. if he'd be like, oh, he doesn't know how to fucking change a tire.
That would be my dad too. My dad would be like, no,
you're not
allowed
going
to
leave him
date
there.
somebody
Leave
who
him
can't.
there.
And like my dad, like anytime he hears like I'm going to get gas, he's like, you check that oil? Like, God,
leave me alone.
You check that oil? How's the oil in that car?
So she says, he sends me off against his better judgment with pepper spray. I head out to a local Mexican place where he proceeds to eat like an absolute pig, talk with his mouth full, rattle his glass of ice at the servers.
Nope, no on that.
Hard fucking no.
That's
Use your words, you piece of shit. And curse like, well, a sailor. I give him a slight pass on the bad manners, considering he's been on a boat for a while, hoping it gets better. It doesn't. He takes me to see Mr. Bean and spends the entire movie laughing so obnoxiously that the people a few rows behind us start throwing quarters at us.
Oh my God.
Not pennies, not popcorn or candy, but actual fucking quarters.
Damn.
God.
I expect him to maybe stop, but he doesn't. In fact, it's like it isn't happening at all. And he continues, and it continues. I slouch down in my seat and pray the movie ends soon.
Oh my God.
He drives me home and insists on walking me to the front door, even after I politely decline. We get to the porch and he kisses me. This disgusting, gropey, completely unwanted kiss, and then says, let's go inside. Just as I'm saying, excuse me? No thanks, and reaching for the pepper spray, my dad swings the front door open and says, get within 10 miles of my daughter ever again, and I will make sure nobody ever finds you.
Oh my
God.
God.
Pissed off dad now.
Thanks, Dad.
Guy ran so fast back to his car, he practically rolled downhill. Never heard from him again, thank God.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Dad saves the day.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Fucking quarters. Have you ever been mad enough at somebody that you're like, I'm gonna throw quarters at these people?
Quarters is a very
It's aggressive.
It's very specific.
It's an aggressive change
It's
to
heavy.
throw. Yeah.
It's heavy.
It is heavy.
Ow.
Also,
But
who's
you can also collect that shit. I'd
wasting
be like,
quarters? Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
like,
They're so annoyed.
Yeah, you got like
They're
$3
that
or
annoyed.
$4 out of the whole deal.
All right. Are you guys ready for this?
I'm
Totally.
ready.
Okay. Well, I'm going to preface my story first by saying that I had a listener reach out to me about a story. And her name is Rebecca Ann Schultz, and she was on an ID show called Betrayed, and it was called Pretty in Black. And I totally watched it, and she was like, it's a Crazy in Love. And I did watch it, and it was good. And she's like Elodie. She plays Elodie. So if you guys watch it, shout out to her.
Hi.
It was really cute. And I'm like watching it and like texting her like, ooh, you're kissing a boy. I was like literally messaging her the whole time. It was so funny. But although it was a great story, I didn't know that it was a perfect fit for Crazy in Love. It was still a good story, but it was kind of layered. And I kind of this week I was like, I don't know that I want to do a story that ends in murder. I kind of want to do something a little lighter.
I get that.
And I just kind of feel like I've been doing, maybe not everyone so much, because I don't know. I just feel like it's been a lot of heaviness. And so I wanted to do something that was Crazy in Love, but maybe didn't end in death.
Okay.
So,
all right, good, cool.
So
I like it.
I actually was going to I was looking into different things, and I was thinking about doing, Van Gogh, because he cuts his ear off. I was like, that would be kind of
a good one.
interesting story. And then I happened upon this little nugget of gold that I'm going to tell you.
Nice.
This story is about this is a troubling story of Oskar Kokoschka and Alma Mahler.
Okay.
Not familiar.
I doubt you would be. In fact, it was très difficile to find information on this. I couldn't find anything on YouTube that wasn't in a foreign language. It was like everything. I found two really great articles that I used mostly for this. One was written by Hal Mayforth. He has an art blog that it's Hal Mayforth at blogspot.com, who had a really great write up about this. And then Nicola Budanovic.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think you did a great job.
Budanovic, question mark, who published a story in Vintage News. The other one that I picked up some little nuances from was George Perdola for Interlude article. So This is the story of Oskar Kokoschka and Alma Mueller. So let me tell you a little bit about Alma Mueller. She was the wife of the composer Gustav Mueller in Vienna, and he was a very well-known composer, and she was a composer in her own right as well, and she was a known socialite. She was a bit of an it girl of the time. This is the early 1900s, and Vienna was not really welcoming to the professional pursuits of women at the time.
Yeah.
So she was really kind of forced to set aside her passions to become a wife and mother. And Gustav, 19 years her senior, and had a daughter, Maria, who died at the age of 5 of scarlet fever. Aww. It's around this time that she began an affair with Walter Gropius. By 1911, Gustav passes away. So this is Alma's actually got a really fascinating story. And again, she's a composer, and she's a very fascinating person and kind of known as a muse to Gustav, a muse to a lot of artists during this scene. She dated this guy, Walter Gropius. So she's got a lot of influence, and she's very well known. But again, by 1911, Gustav passes away, and her relationship with Gropius is put on hold. She's, she'd lost her daughter. She starts dating this guy. Her and her husband hadn't really been living together because she'd been kind of having this affair with Gropius. And so when her husband dies, I think it just kind of triggers her to be like, you know what? Let's put this aside for now. And as a socialite and someone well connected in the bohemian scene, she is, out meeting artists and the like. And during this time, she meets this emerging expressionist artist called Oskar Kokoschka in 1912. Oskar Kokoschka, again, he's like one of these early expressionists who is a painter, and starting to kind of become well known. And from the moment they meet, Oskar is like, "You're my muse," and starts almost entirely painting nothing but her. And I think they said that there was over 80 sketches.
Would you like to be someone's muse? Because I feel like that would make me really uncomfortable.
I would.
Oh God, I don't know.
I
think the idea is interesting.
The idea is interesting to me. Just like I like creative people. I want to inspire creativity in people, and I want them to inspire. Like, I don't want it to be more of that kind of place versus like an obsession.
Like, that's kind of what this feels like to me. Whenever you become the sole focus, and that's what I mean about muses. I mean, I guess having someone be inspired by you, I think is I love that idea.
Right.
But this whole thing where it's just like every piece of art, I can only be inspired by you, and every piece of art that I make is centered around you, and like that would start to feel oppressive to me. Like I'd feel like there's a lot of responsibility. I feel like that goes with that, and then like 2, what's going on with you creatively that you can only get like creatively inspired by one subject. That seems like intense.
It is very intense.
Yeah.
And that's, one article suggests that they had actually met one evening when when Alma's playing piano and Oskar produces this sketch of her. So that's how they meet. Like, he's immediately inspired by her, and their relationship is really quickly becomes like tumultuous and extremely a passionate affair. So they are like, it is guns a-blazing. They come out of the gate guns blazing. Like, it is hot and wild from get. And Alma becomes Oskar's muse, like I said, and the subject of most of his art, posing for him regularly, creating his best known work, which is called The Tempest. It's also known as The Bride of the Wind. So this is a piece of work that he is most well known for. By 1914, the love affair was falling apart for Alma. She was growing kind of weary of Oskar's possessiveness, because absolutely right. It's great when things are hot and fiery and passionate, but at the same time, that comes with a level of hot, fiery, passionate. And when does that ever subside? And if you're always going at 110%, like, at what point do you?
Yeah, I don't like that possessiveness. I also think that that's my fear with this kind of thing. It's just like, where's the line between passion and obsession? And I also hate that, like, using the words like crime of passion and using passion in this way is really, unhelpful, because I remember being a kid and thinking like, especially I watched so many like golden era movies and things like that where I'm like, oh, that's what love is. It's like you like fight, and then you make up and it's wonderful and it's beautiful and like there's and that's not really healthy at all. It's very bad.
No, and like we got a really codependent view of love.
Yes, absolutely.
From our media growing up.
Yeah,
it's like that's not love. That's codependence.
The weird thing is too is that like. Well, not weird, but like some of the source of like all this stuff actually comes from copious diaries that both Alma kept and Oskar. So they both were very good about like documenting.
Dear friend.
Yeah. So what you were talking about earlier is what they were doing. Yeah. So she had said she decided to leave him, and she was saying in some of the things that she was writing and some of the things that she was talking about, she said she was afraid of being too overcome by passion. So again, I think that kind of leading into
she saw the red flags. She knew what was up. She's like, oh, coming out a little strong.
Yeah. So of course, Oskar is completely devastated by this and began like a real terror on himself. Like he went through a really depressive period and started drinking heavily and becoming quite a bit self-destructive. And around this time was when World War I is ramping up. And so at this time, he decides to join the Austrian Cavalry Regiment. And I think with the intention,
what a drama queen. Like, honestly,
I think with the intention that it's like, he's like, this is, you know,
I'll go die.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you're fucking such a drama queen. Get your shit together. Calm down.
Snap out of it.
You're fine.
He's an artist though.
Oh my God.
So, within the year, he is seriously wounded. One of the articles says that he is stabbed by a bayonet near his heart and shot in the head. After a second incident and shell shock,
Christina's face.
I know. It's like, a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot for like 1914 where they do throw some leeches on it.
Right. Yeah, they're like, hope it works out.
Bleed them.
Bloodlet. Just put a few bandages on it. Put some gauze on it. It'll be fine.
It's fine.
So because of his shell shock, they actually hold his release, saying he is also mentally unstable because of the shell shock and everything else that he's gone through. So they're holding him.
You've seen like like shaky old-timey video or black and white cartoons are by far the most frightening things ever to me. They give me nightmares, 100. But one of the scariest things I've ever seen is footage of men returning from World War I with shell shock.
So
and
sad.
It is so overwhelmingly scary, sad, powerful. Like, it's so crazy. But yeah,
it's devastating. Well, it's devastating what war does to anybody, not just World War I, World War II, all of the wars.
I think World War I was one of the worst as far as like that went, because it was like one of the first wars where it was a war after the Industrial Revolution, where we had like all of these, like we had tanks, we had bombs, we had stuff that like we hadn't, previously had to contend with in the same kind of way. So it was, really, really, really tough on people. I mean, all war is tough on people.
Yeah, definitely. At any rate, in 1918, once he was recovered and returned to Vienna, he is now faced with the facts. Alma is not coming back. She is, in fact, gone back to her prior lover, Walter Gropius, and they are now married. So he's like, well, he's like
hard deuces. Bye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think he thought, when he came back, he's like, well, we'll try this one more time. And it was obviously a no. So this is where the story gets fucking wild. I even wrote wild in all caps in my murder notes.
Nice.
Okay.
Oskar reaches out to a German doll maker living in the area.
No, you start dolls.
Moose.
This took a turn.
Yep.
Dolls.
To commission her to make a life-sized mannequin doll of his love, Alma.
What do you do if you're a doll maker and somebody's just like, hey, can you do me a solid? Will you make this doll that looks just like this woman I want to fuck? Like, oh my God, no.
Can't be
so
good.
Much worse. He gives her explicit instructions on how to make her, including drawings and a life-size oil of her. He writes to her, and I have it in quotes, what he wrote to her.
This is why I don't want to be a muse.
This is
this shit?
Yep. This is part of what he wrote as part of the instructions. Yesterday, I sent a life-size drawing of my beloved, and I asked you to copy this most carefully and to transform it into reality. Pay special attention to the dimensions of the head and neck, to the rib cage, the rump, and the limbs, and take it to heart the contours of the body, e.g., the line of the neck and to the back. the curve of her belly. Please permit my sense of touch to take pleasure in these places where layers of fat or muscle suddenly give way to sinewy covering of skin. For the first layer, inside, please use fine, curly horsehair. You must buy an old sofa or something similar. Have the horsehair disinfected. Then, over that, a layer of pouches stuffed with down cotton wool for the seat and breasts. The point of all this is for me to experience, which I must be able to embrace. He also reached out to her secondarily with this request. Can the mouth be opened? Are there teeth and tongue inside? I hope.
Oh. I'm telling you, like, this doll maker got this shit and she was like, what? She showed this to everybody. Like, everybody.
Yeah. All her friends.
All her friends. She was like, look at this weird fucking request I just got.
No.
I don't like it.
So it goes further on. So once he receives this package, Kokoschka writes, in a state of a feverish anticipation, like Orpheus calling Eurydice. I looked this up. Eurydice. Back from the underworld, I freed the effigy of Alma Mahler from its packaging. As I lifted it into the light of day, the image of her I had preserved in my memory stirred from life. He got his servant to spread rumors about the doll to give the public impression that she was a real woman. For example, that he had hired a horse and carriage to take her out on sunny days and rented a box for her at the opera in order to show her off.
Oh, no.
I mean,
He
but
took
honestly,
his doll to a show.
But there are people like that now. Like, there was a whole TLC show about that. Like, people who take their, like, life-size dolls with them places. And they're like, this is my girlfriend. I mean, I've seen Lars and the Real Girl. I know what's up.
Oh, my God.
Like, but that's what this is. It's like old-timey, like,
Lars and the
version
Real Girl.
of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a yikes.
It's so much yikes. Kokoschka would use the doll as his continued muse for scenes of paintings. I mean, imagine she's probably sits very still.
Mm-hmm. She's the ideal muse,
so
really.
If
Can't
you
talk
want,
back.
If you want nightmare fuel for that, look at the pictures that he paints of the fucking doll.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Oh, it's a wild. Hold on, I feel like I have some pulled up.
Horrified right now.
Yeah.
Cassie, well done on this pic.
It's bananas, is it not?
My God.
Oh God.
Oh no.
First of
Sex
all-
doll art.
First of all, here you go. Here's Oscar.
Why do you want teeth and
It's like an older picture of him. That's Oscar. Sorry, I know
Yeah.
I'm playing
He looks like
you know, I
someone's-
have to cut this out.
He looks like someone's
No, it's
grandpa. Like, he's got a cardigan on. He's doing a Superman
So average.
stand.
So normal looking,
Very
right?
normal looking, yeah.
Very normal looking. She's beautiful, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
very pretty.
She's very pretty.
You can
got
see
a
her as a
gorgeous
beautiful
profile.
muse.
Yeah.
She'd be a beautiful muse. And then beep boop boop. Hold on, let me get to.
We're going to have to post all of
Sorry.
these pictures
Oh,
or
yeah.
else our listeners are going to be
They're-
upset.
Mm. There's the doll. Yeah.
I'm
Is it covered in fur? 'Cause
horrified.
we talk about this.
I don't
Oh my-
like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
How could you cuddle with that?
No.
How could you?
Wait.
Oh, I'm so scared.
That is a horror movie.
It is.
That is the scariest thing
It
I've
looks like it's
ever
covered
seen.
Is it
in
covered
chicken
in
feathers.
feathers?
It looks like it's covered
That's
in
what
chicken feathers.
He just
Oh my
said.
God.
He said, "Oh my God."
I don't- yeah.
Oh my God. That's
That
going
is
to live in my
a
nightmares.
fucking nightmare.
It's the wildest
Why
shit, you
has there
guys.
not been a horror movie
Why-
about this right yet?
Question is, why isn't this story like more well known? You know what I mean? Like, why aren't we
That is
hearing
the creepiest
more about
thing
this story?
I've ever seen in my fucking
Why would you want it
life.
covered in feather? You want to like pet it? Like, it's so creepy.
Here is a picture that he painted of it.
Well, yeah.
Look at the,
It looks-
the hands.
I mean,
it's wild.
it looks like it.
I can't wait for you guys to see these pictures. It is
Oh my
Wild AF.
God.
We will save
Yeah.
these and post them to Instagram because, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I am. You cannot know the gravity of how horrifying it is until you've seen it.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because one of my favorite stories I ever did was the Carl Tansler.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's nothing going to be as wild as that story. But this one's pretty...
Honestly,
it's not even on that level.
Take that story, take this story, put them together, and
close.
You have a terrifying horror movie.
Yeah.
People that like start like fucking inanimate objects is typically, it's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. After some months, he decided it was time to rid himself of this fantasy doll, Alma. He organized
I don't know what the doll did.
a Bacchanalia, which is a Roman festival for Bacchus, celebrated with song, dance, and revelry. So
I would like to go to that. That sounds fun.
It sounds fun.
Maybe not organized by this guy.
Let me read you a little bit about this that he wrote again. This is from him, quotes. I engaged a chamber orchestra from the opera. The musicians in formal dress played in the garden, seated in a Baroque fountain whose waters colored the warm evening air. A Venetian courtesan, famed for her beauty, was wearing a very low-necked dress and insisted on seeing the silent woman face to face, supposing her to be a rival. She must have felt like a cat trying to catch a butterfly through a window pane. She simply could not understand. Rissuril paraded the doll as if it was a fashion show. The courtesan asked whether I slept with the doll and whether it looked like anyone I had been in love with. In the course of the party, the doll lost its head and was doused in red wine. We were all drunk. That's his quotes on this. So that's him telling the story.
So he like got a bunch of wine and hired a sex worker and then like decapitated the doll.
And from my understanding, had like this huge party, invited people over. They decapitate this doll, douse her in red wine.
I would go to that party though. I absolutely
just
would go.
Sipping tea and eating popcorn
like,
in the corner. Are
you
kidding?
You and me, like the three of us would just be in the corner. We're like,
all
we're
the
just
faces.
here to
Throw in all the faces.
Child, I've got my tea hair on.
So this is it for him. He's finally come to terms with this, like, just kind of, he's done with it. Like, this is his big hurrah
impressed
goodbye.
that he got to that place.
I am too, to be honest. The next morning, though, Kokoschka wakes up to quite a surprise as the police arrive at his house looking for the corpse of the headless woman they had seen in his garden, expecting a crime of passion to find the doll. He says that that may as well have been true because he did kill his Alma.
Wow. Amazing.
That's wild, right?
Hats off to you. That's wild. That man makes me uncomfortable. Like, oh Lord.
Yeah, I can't. I'm always, and we've talked about it. Like, you know, we don't kink shame or anything like that. And there's something out there for everybody. But it makes me a little bit. I don't understand if when you go to like the like sex toy stores and it's just like disembodied pieces of people, and I'm like,
to me, it does. It makes you feel.
But then again, I'm like, I've got vibrators, and isn't that like a disembodied penis?
I mean,
pretty much.
I'm like, am I this guy?
And you know, it does come
different.
down. I think that we could debate all day like levels of harm that any of this causes, and there probably is some like on a psychological level, like, you know, all the way around.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, really, the way I feel about it and have always felt about it is like, if you're not hurting anybody,
true.
If this is what you need to get you through life or whatever, then fine.
Look, I smiled through that whole story.
The only issue that I see with this is, one, I'm worried about him because I'm like, what's wrong with your mental state?
Yeah.
And two, I feel like because it's a reflection of a real person,
that's
that feels like icky and like harmful to me. If it was just like a sex doll
Imagine
that he
finding
created,
out one of your exes had an effigy
I'd
basically
be so
of you.
freaked out.
I would. That is some obsessive level shit where you're like, I don't actually know if I'm safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
And
It doesn't feel safe.
I think that that's the thing that worries me about this. Like, if it was just like a story about like a weird old dude who made a sex doll, I'd be like, oh, that's, you know, it's weird.
That's cute.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's cute, but it is like, it is fine.
But it's V specific. It is the whole thing. And like I saw some of the pictures of the notes and stuff and like the drawings and it's just
that freaking doll is so scary.
It's horrifying. It looks like it belongs in a haunted house.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to get that image out of my
because
head.
the body looked loose. I think that's the thing about it is
well, it's cloth.
Yeah, because it's cloth, and it was like you could like fold it, and it was like sitting crisscross applesauce in one of those pictures. I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Oh man, I can't wait. You guys are gonna flip out when you see these pictures. Like gosh. Honestly,
that is amazing.
We'll post them to our Facebook
dive.
group, and then also on Instagram. Yeah,
like I said, I'm perplexed at the lack of information, lack of stories. There was not a podcast I could find with about. I did find like there was one podcast that had some information on Alma, like just her specifically. And it wasn't what I was looking for. It was kind of more of like her as a muse, which I think this character is very amazing story. Like her herself is, I think, very interesting, but not specifically about this story. I couldn't find anything that's been covered on this. It was.
I gotta say, not a huge fan of his paintings.
No,
don't like.
It's not for me.
No,
not for me.
But
not my favorite.
Art, but I love the idea of going the art route. I thought there was I'm like, there's got to be a lot of artists.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of artists and musicians. There's definitely going to be a ton of crazy and love stories.
Speaking of podcasts, what's the name of the one you were telling me about in the bar last night that was based off that Dateline game night? Crazy in Love that I did.
Hold on. It's something about Pam or something like that. Hold on.
Fucking Pam. God
it's
damn it.
the story that she did.
There's like 7 Datelines on him. They keep doing it because this saga keeps going on. This guy was like at a game night and his wife was murdered and he's been tried like 70 billion times and everyone's like, he wasn't there. He couldn't have done it.
Yeah. The Thing About Pam is what it's called. What's his
subscribe.
name? What's the guy's name?
Keith Morris.
Yep. It's Keith Morris. And it's, of course, Keith's voice. Like he could just talk to me all day, and
I need to subscribe to.
But
that.
it is the deep dive, and they talk about how integral,
I'm so excited.
A part of like actually Dateline itself became part of the story.
Yeah, because they've done so many different episodes on it. Yeah. Oh, so, great. Yeah. Subscribed. Great.
Yeah, I listened to the first 2 episodes. It's really good. The other thing that I did this week is Chris and I binge watched Diagnosis. I don't know if I brought this up before, but I'd watched 1 episode before, but we just binged it the other night and it is so fucking good. It's on Netflix and it kind of reminds me of the thing that I love about true crime, which is that I love the idea of outsourcing, like how we've come to this level, like where like a Billy Jensen like uses crowdsourcing to help find criminals and help to find other people who may be victims, et cetera, et cetera. What this does is it uses crowdsourcing to help people find diagnosis for illnesses that they cannot figure out.
There's another one that's Chasing the Cure, which is like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is so good. I love it. Wild.
That is why Al Gore invented the internet. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, honestly, like
to connect people, absolutely, in a positive way. And of course, it had negative repercussions. Of course, anytime you get that many people like connected, it's going to have negative
finding
impacts,
out like what disease you're afflicted with, watching cat videos or alpacas like that.
Mostly that
alpacas.
Oh,
sloth videos. Oh, I love a sloth video.
Yeah,
so fun.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I'm watching this week. I'm watching the Country Music by Ken Burns.
So good.
Which is really, really interesting. I love any music documentary and I love Ken Burns. So it's kind of a match made in heaven.
Really good.
No, I'm not a huge country music fan. In fact, I wouldn't even say I am one at all, but it's still that interesting. It's that good. I'm a music fan. If you're a music fan, I think hearing the evolution about it and just the way it developed is interesting. Yeah. So
I would say that I always have kind of been I don't like country music person too. But I think the fact is what this all boils down to is I don't like pop music. And I find that I do like country music. I like old country music.
You like Miley?
I do. And I mean, there's like a few things, but I'm not generally across the board a fan of pop music. I generally am across the board more of a fan of, I love the blues and I think that's what I see in it, like that old country. I love bluegrass. I love I love that old country, and it's been absolutely kind of a fun wild ride. Like I've actually been like texting my dad. My dad's been a musician my whole life, so it's been fun. I have like memories of being young, going to my Uncle Rass's house up in Youngstown, and like sitting in his basement and them playing like country music and steel guitar and like playing music in the basement and like jamming. Like it's kind of what I grew up with, so that it's like there's like a little component of it that's super nostalgic for me.
What are you, Keegan? Watching anything?
I mean, this week was weird, and like I didn't have a lot of time to like watch stuff. So really the last thing I did watch was 13 Reasons Why. I binged the whole second season, and you know, like I said, it was good. I enjoyed it. If you liked the first season, you know, watch the second one. I was really on the fence about the way that they handled like mental illness and like suicide and stuff in the first season. I wasn't sure that I was like a huge fan of that, but I think that what they did really well in the second season is they took all that feedback and applied it. Like they gave at the beginning of every single episode, there was a warning. There was like a, you know, trigger warning, and also like if you're thinking about any of these things, here are some resources for you. So it was good. I liked watching the progression of the show in that way, that you could tell that they took that and
there's a little
went
more awareness.
with it. Yeah. So I did enjoy it, and yeah, I'm still watching the Great British Bake Off once a week.
Hear you, girl. Hear you.
Fucking bullshit.
I gotta tell you guys, if you haven't yet, I feel like you guys would really, really like Workin' Moms. I just finished the third season.
I've heard good things.
It is so fucking funny and so good and so well acted. And I know that there's been a lot of comments. I think we talked about this before when you were like, I don't like her face or whatever. Like you're like, I don't like her mouth or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. You got to get over it, because it's just really good. It's real well put together. The storyline's really good. It's super good.
My list of things to watch is so fucking long
I know.
at this moment. Like
much.
I really want to watch. I do want to watch Unbelievable on Netflix. I've heard really good things about that. I feel like I need to be in the right headspace so I don't throw my glass of wine against the TV. So I want to watch that. I want to watch. There's something with David Tennant, a new like criminal show.
Ooh.
It's like it takes place in like 5 European countries. There's like criminal UK, criminal Spain, and it's just like I don't know what the stories are, but it gave me the teaser on Netflix, and I was like, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I love David Tennant. I'll fucking watch anything he's in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that for sure. The thing about Unbelievable for me is that there's a lot of things. There's not a ton of things that trigger me. One of the things that really, 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 really triggers me, like in a very hard way, is not being believed.
Well, the lack of I'm such a justice centered person that like when there isn't justice happening, it makes me furious. Like I get like so upset about it that I know that it's going to make me like that's why I couldn't watch When They See Us, because I'm like I know that it's going to trigger something in me that makes me like want to break shit.
Yeah. Oh, the worst one in that vein then was the Khalif Browder story.
Oh God, yeah. Oh fucking! I want to flip a table thinking about it. Like, oh my God,
just watching that documentary was it was so well done, but it was just like one of the hardest things that
I think that's the thing about the story you told. The thing about the Dateline thing, with that guy,
him not being just and
not being believed, and you just are like, how did they not believe him? You know,
yeah, because he's got like, and all of his friends are like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Right.
Like, I swear to God.
And this bitch got this money. I mean, just like, you're just, how are you not? Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Really ended on a down note.
Yeah, we are.
Well, hey, if you got stories, crazy and love suggestions, you just want to reach out and say hi or anything like that, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. Also, if you have a minute, please take a second to like, rate, and review us on iTunes. It really, really helps us out. And we just really appreciate everything that you guys do with us, interacting with us on Facebook and listening and telling your friends.
Join the Facebook group.
Yes.
Fun in there.
Yes. And we love you guys so much. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.